The Indiana Fever's 5 unpleasant players are undermining Caitlin Clark. In all honesty, Caitlin Clark came into her second season in the WNBA as a major goal and the focus of the league. After a record-breaking rookie season in which he led the league in assists and averaged 19.4 points per game, expectations for 2025 were quite high. But instead of going off, the Indiana Fever have stayed remarkably inconsistent. This roster does, in fact, have a few serious shortcomings. We are now analyzing the 5 men that took down the Caitlin Clark era, beginning with the most dangerous player at number 1. Sydney Colson comes in 5th. When the Fever signed Sydney Colson on February 5, 2025, the plan appeared clear-cut. Bring in a more seasoned player to assist the younger players and keep the locker room organized. On paper, she has that experienced voice. On the court, though, she has been a ghost. During the course of 28 games, she is only averaging 2.5 points, 0.8 rebounds, and 2 assists in less than 11 minutes a game. She seldom ever shows up in cues when it counts. Her game has slowed to a crawl at the age of 35, and when she does play, she comes across as cautious. For a team that relies on rapid cuts, quick ball movement, and agility, her plodding pace destroys momentum. Clark is best served by guards who can shoot without hesitation, keep up a quick pace, and make crucial plays. Colson hesitates on open shots, dribbles for too long, and makes late passes that stall the assault. Despite being a leader off the court, she is squandering game time that might be used by enthusiastic young players. At number 4 is Brianna Turner. Even more aggravating are the circumstances surrounding Brianna Turner. It's not that she's not doing well. Instead, it's because she was held to such high standards. Turner, a former first-round pick and standout defensive player, was renowned for his aggressiveness, perseverance, and shot-blocking skills. This season, we haven't seen that player. In 14 games, she is scoring an unbelievable 0.4 points, 0.9 rebounds, and 0.2 assists per game despite only shooting 20% from the field. She hasn't played more than 60 minutes all year long. In addition to being low, such figures are historically low for a forward. Turner should have taken possession of the glass, rolled hard to the basket, and set up sturdy screens for Clark. Instead, she glides through possessions, hardly challenges defensively, and fails to capitalize on her stature. Her body language makes it obvious that she is not involved, and she rarely uses defensive language when speaking. For a team that wants to maximize every second Caitlin is on the court, Turner's minutes have become a waste. Third place goes to Kelsey Mitchell. This one is controversial because of Kelsey Mitchell's scoring history. Since entering the league in 2018, she has been the Fever's preferred bucket getter. In the previous season, she averaged almost 18 points each game. This year, she is still averaging about 16.6. The problem is not the numbers, but the fit. Caitlin Clark is now the offensive's main motivator. As the ball moves between her hands, the team should follow her playmaking. Mitchell, on the other hand, keeps acting like the starting guard by over-dribbling, holding the ball for extended periods of time, and relying on isolated possessions to create rhythm. When Clark has the ball, the Fever's offense comes alive. Mitchell takes over, causing the rhythm to decrease, the space to grow narrower, and the flow to cease. Because of her resistance to change, which is leading to a clash of styles, the team is suffering far more than the box score suggests. Defenders understand the plan. Make Mitchell slow down, sag off, and take the challenging shots. Despite her ability to hit them, this squad seldom ever requires those bullets. The primary problem is this clash of styles. A once-in-a-generation creative and a striker who dominates the ball are just not a good combination. Mitchell is not pleased with the ball. She is not the catch-and-run threat you want next to Clark, and her defensive skills are still below average. When competing guards chase her in switches, Clark is compelled to take control. She can't risk a Fever with further work after spraining her groin in July. In addition, there is the looming contract drama. As he reaches unfettered free agency, Mitchell is said to have the highest salary demands. But should Indiana really bear the expense? When Caitlin Clark and AIA Boston are your foundation, you build upon them. Defenders, sharpshooters, and unselfish participants. Mitchell still aspires to be the alpha, but that is inappropriate now. Dyrus Dantas comes in second. When Indiana hired Dyrus Dantas in 2024, the plan was clear. There should be some floor spacing, tenacity in the paint, and rebounding muscle to maintain the offensive option. But in 2025, the influence hasn't kept up with the credentials. She only averages 5.0 points and 2.4 rebounds per game and shoots less than 38% from the floor. That is far too low for a forward who is supposed to finish inside and spread the floor. She takes her spins gently. When the chips are down, she completely disappears and has a sluggish transition defense. Timing is crucial to Clark's strategy. When she drives and breaches the defense, she needs teammates who are ready to fire. Dantas stops. That brief pause destroys all of your momentum, rhythm, and possessions. On the defensive end, it's the same thing. In the current WNBA, power forwards who can switch, close out, and protect the rim are highly sought after. Dantas struggles with all three of them. Clark fills in the gaps left by heavy feet, late closeouts, and quiet communication. She is not particularly poisonous when it comes to locker room drama. She is poisonous in the passive sense. A veteran retains minutes as newer, more motivated players watch from the sidelines. Let's start with Natasha Howard. The largest drain on Caitlin Clark's system is now Natasha Howard. On paper, she was the ideal signing. Former All-Star, three-time WNBA champion, and proven paint presence. In actuality, it has been a slow-motion letdown. Through 2025, Howard is averaging 11.66 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. It appears sturdy at first, but then you notice the disgusting part. She is not reaching 41% of the floor. For a forward who lives within the arc, there is a warning sign. Missed bunnies at the rim, short shots clanking off iron, and misted putbacks have all become the norm. Clark's strategy requires forwards who can finish hard at the rim or stretch defenses with a reliable jumper. Howard is also not doing it. She stays away from the hoop, avoids diving violently on pick and rolls, and when she does get the ball moving, her touch is all over the place. Instead of being the steady, seasoned presence that she was brought in to be, Clark is under additional pressure to carry the momentum and the scoring because of Howard's inconsistency. No point guard should have to shoulder this burden alone. There is a clear defensive drop-off. At one point, Natasha Howard was a switch that imprisoned anybody who opposed them. Capable of being vigilant during closeouts, fast on rotations, and able to protect many spots without blinking. However, by age 32, the explosion stops. Right now, she is being assaulted on the first step. Her footwork is tight, and her rotations arrive too late. The guards attack without hesitation as they see her in drop covering. Instead of being a defensive anchor, she is now a defensive target. And in this case, passion is just as crucial as talent. Keep an eye on her body language. Shoulders slumped after making errors. Unwilling to get back to defense after missed shots and unresponsive when a teammate makes a big play. During timeouts, she is not the engaged veteran voice that this youthful fever squad needs. Rather, she is distant. Compare that to Caitlin Clark, who, despite her injury, never stops encouraging the team, pointing out discrepancies, and cheering on her colleagues. It is necessary to convey that degree of urgency. With Howard, it doesn't. The disparity in expectations is enormous. There was no character introduction for Howard. She was expected to collaborate closely with Aaliyah Boston and was among the highest-paid veterans in Indiana. Instead, she has become an obstacle. She wastes time that might be used to help athletes like Michaela Onion and Chloe BBBY grow, where slows down the offense and clogs space. Players who actually cut hard, run the floor, and make deliberate movements. Transitional chances are eliminated by Howard's slow decision-making. Clark will rush the ball in pursuit of a caravan or cutter, and Howard is too far behind him. If she does catch the ball, she resets instead of attacking, giving defenses time to regroup and removing easy scoring possibilities. In addition to tangible goods, those half-second delays also have the potential to squander. Howard is currently the embodiment of every problem in our system. erratic self-assurance, uneven pace, and productivity unworthy of compensation. When Clark drives and kicks, she needs a shooter on hand. When she calls for a changeover, she wants reliable support. When the huddle begins, she needs everyone to be heard. Howard hasn't provided any of it this season. This is a turning point for Indiana. With the Fever is the league's most talked about player. A substantial fan following that is supported by rookies, Clark, and Boston's perfect pick-and-roll partner, Friend. If she does catch the ball, she resets instead of attacking, giving defenses time to react and removing easy scoring possibilities. Those half-second delays not only squander resources but also potential. Howard is currently the embodiment of every problem in our system. Unreliable self-assurance, uneven pace, and productivity unworthy of compensation. When Clark drives and kicks, she needs a ready shooter. When she calls for a changeover, she wants reliable help. When the huddle begins, she needs everyone's voice to be heard. Howard hasn't provided any of it this season. This is a turning point for Indiana. The Fever have a large fan base of rookies, the league's most talked about athlete, and Clark and Boston's perfect choice and partner. But victory and hype are not the same thing. Choosing to run for office involves more thought than feeling. If they don't get rid of the deadweight immediately, Indiana might burn through Clark's prime and possibly lose her entirely. The formula is not complicated in any way. Spend time with athletes who will protect her physique, enhance her game intelligence, and keep up with her speed. There are other factors than talent. It all boils down to knowing your role, putting out effort, and giving up something for the team. Because of this, Lexi Hall is safe. She creates an impact without touching, defends as if it were personal, and moves well inside the rhythm of the attack. Sophie Cunningham finds herself in a similar situation. Even if she doesn't have the most striking name or lead the team in scoring, she adds presence, loyalty, and passion. It wasn't a terrible expulsion against Connecticut on March 15th. A message was sent. When you see Caitlin, you deal with me. Michaela Onyenware is striking double figures, hammering the boards, and running the floor as if she's fighting for every second in just 14 minutes each game, despite the fact that she's still raw. That is the way the Fever must think. Players that can jet down their lane with ease. These sorts of construction blocks are a flexible stretch for those with a lot of energy and flexibility, and Chloe BBBY, who is here temporarily, has also showed potential. She determines the exact floor space needed for Caitlin Clark to overwhelm the defenses of the opposition. She deserves the chance even if she might not be a long-term contribution. Next up is Ari McDonald, a real coin toss. When Clark was not available, McDonald took over. But as soon as Caitlin was in the spotlight once more, doubts started to arise. Can she accept the role of backup? Or will her ego get in the way of her role?